Nothing says Christmas like paying £85 for a man to come into your home dressed as the Grinch, pouring orange juice all over your son, smashing all your eggs and breaking your Christmas tree. Am I right? I've had this script written since last December, and I thought if I don't film this today is the 21st of December, I'm literally flying home for Christmas tomorrow, then I will have to wait until next December to film this, and I am sorry, but more people need to know about the £85 Grinch. I just can't wait anymore. So, welcome, hello, my name is Chloe, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the £85 Grinch and other Christmas nightmares. I even made £85 Grinch earrings. Everyone is obsessed with the Grinch, and if you haven't noticed this, have you stepped foot inside a Primark lately? Which I do think is hilarious considering how Dr. Seuss wrote How the Grinch Stole Christmas because he hated the commercialisation of Christmas. You may know the Grinch as Jim Carrey, or even Benedict Cumberbatch in the animated one. But do you know about the £85 Grinch who terrorised Belfast? I personally think that the £85 Grinch needs a TV show made about him. And then at the end of that you could have like a bit of text in black and white where it's like, the £85 Grinch denies any allegations of being involved in pouring orange juice over people's children. If you get that, please tell me you get that. It might be a bit niche, but anyway. People dressing up as TV and film characters isn't anything new, but I personally think there's definitely been a rise in the past years of people dressing up and going to parties and people hiring like princesses for parties. And I mean, I'm an actor, so all for it, you know, it's often really well paid for the actors. But I do think social media is massive in to do with this. Everybody wants the real life Rapunzel at their daughter's second birthday, so then they can put that on Facebook and Instagram, You also at Christmas time have all of the elves in the Santa's grotto and all the Santas, and I myself was an elf a couple of years ago, and then I also worked in immersive theatre at Christmas, which I will get into later because it's a crazy place to work. But having a villain and someone dress up as the Grinch is proven more and more popular. Also, I have a cold, so ignore my voice. I'm really trying hard to film this. This leads us to December 2021, in which a woman called Laura paid £85 to have a Grinch experience in her own home. According to Laura, the visit was meant to include a pillow fight, photos with the Grinch, and then he was going to mess up the kids' beds and the tree with some toilet roll. Okay, like a nice wee innocent prank. But also, if you want someone to mess up your house around Christmas time, I mean, one of your relatives would literally do that for free, and it would cost you money to clean it up. Like, you could literally get your wee cousin to do it for £5 a bottle of Lucozade. Laura had made this lovely spread with expensive cupcakes, juice, like the juice was green, she had Schlur, which is my favourite. She had all nice Christmas piggy bits, right? When the Grinch arrived, he destroyed everything. I'll read out her original Facebook post, which I think was deleted eventually. So paid £85 for a Grinch visit, ... advertises the Grinch to come in, mess the bed, have pillow fights, put toilet roll around the Christmas tree, and pictures with the kid at the end. They were told to leave. No pictures. Versus what I got. Every single bit of party food, expensive cupcakes, threw all over the place, tray decorations broke, fairy up liquid poured on my kitchen floor, egg smashed, and a full bottle of juice poured over the floor and my son. Kids' new onesie ruined. Highly do not recommend. Mailed and complained, no reply. Grinch defo came and stole Christmas. Never been so disgusted in my life. Now, I have a few things to say about this. I love the fact that she said fairy up liquid, because I, for one, also say fairy up liquid and have been bullied by my English flatmates. So, thank you, Laura, for confirming that it isn't just a me thing. Someone screenshotted her original post and then put it on Twitter, and then this went viral, and this was the best bit. There were so many funny tweets about the £85 Grinch, but there's still people I speak to, like in my real life, and I'm like, you're not as chronically online as me because you don't know the £85 Grinch. And it gives me such a sense of pride because so many people, if they do know about the £85 Grinch, they don't know that it was from Belfast. Like, is this how people in Glasgow felt when the Willy Wonka experience experience was happening, because this is what I feel about the £85 Grinch. But can you imagine being one of her sons though? I mean, the photo they used of the kid, he looks so happy. Like, I can imagine they probably hadn't been socialising much in the last year and a half because of COVID, and then all of a sudden this guy comes in and he throws the Christmas tree about the room, he's throwing cookies everywhere, he's throwing cupcakes, and then he pours orange juice on you. Best Christmas ever! Then we have the reaction of the company, which is, I find this quite interesting. The company who sent the Grinch was called Santa Stop Here Belfast, and they replied to Laura's comments and said that Laura's sister had actually hired the Grinch. And apparently she was told in advance of the visit sort of what to expect. They also go on to say that they did 30 visits that year with no complaints. I also love the fact that the Grinch was then booking up. Our Grinch is loving the attention. I'm sure he is. We've had hundreds of bookings so far today. Also, this is quite interesting. The Grinch also knew them personally, but he hasn't told them who was under the mask. Can you imagine if this was like your next door neighbour or your friend, or just someone who you knew but maybe they were like really quiet and reserved, and then all of a sudden they put on like a Grinch costume and become a menace to society? I just think genuinely it's one of the best stories, and it makes me laugh so much. Like, can we get the £85 Grinch on Celebrity Traders as soon as possible? However, the £85 Grinch isn't the only Grinch that has terrorised Christmas. I saw on Twitter this video of this Grinch who gets welcomed into, I love how I say this Grinch as if a Grinch is like a species. Is the Grinch a species? Or is he just the Grinch? Or, oh my god, there's a spider on my wall. Are there multiple Grinches? I don't know. Anyway, this Grinch goes into a house, right, of the kids, and it's meant to be like a prank, but basically the Grinch ends up in like a proper WWE style fight with this child. They literally go rolling about the Christmas tree. The child doesn't have a top on. Like, say there was like a glass ornament. I mean, I guess if it was pre-planned there wouldn't have been, but do you know what I mean? People felt the way I did and started going, oh my god, this is so bad, this is so dangerous. And then the person who was in the Grinch costume replied and said, hi, like, I'm actually the wee kid's sister, like, this is just our family dynamic, and also we were getting a new tree the next day, so it's actually all fine. Which, fair enough, like, if that's your family dynamic, then it's not like it was a shock to the child. I think a lot of people can watch a video and assume that something like that has never happened before, or they didn't know it was a family member. Maybe it was like a random man that they had hired from a company, because that would be seriously like bizarre, and I would be complaining if I hired a man to dress up as the Grinch and he like rugby tackled my child. This, however, like most things, has developed into a trend, and there was actually an article from like Wales Online that was warning parents not to traumatise their children. Parents warned to stop scaring your kids due to the psychological impact of Grinch pranks. I mean, I'm sorry, it's crazy. Like, as a parent, your job is to protect your child, and you're literally having to read an article that says, maybe don't traumatise your child at Christmas time. Just a suggestion. A potentially traumatising prank has resurfaced as multiple families get ready for Christmas. Known as the Grinch trick. Is it known as the Grinch trick? The prank involves a person scaring the kids in their own home. Apparently one clip has over 32 million views of a Grinch stealing the Christmas tree. The kids are crying, whereas the adults are just laughing. The article goes on to talk about how important a home being a safe space for a child is. Like, can you imagine if your child's being bullied in school and then they come home and then they get terrorised by a Grinch? If I came home and one of my flatmates had like paid someone to dress up as the Grinch, and I opened my door and there was a man standing there in a full outfit, I would freak out. I would rugby tackle him to the ground. I would be thinking he's an intruder or a murderer or a thief, or all of the above. So why, as a child, would your first thought be, oh, this is all fake, my parents have organised this? You would think it's real. And obviously this goes a lot deeper in the fact that parents are using their kids for views on social media. I mean, if that Grinch prank got over 30 million views, if it's over 1 minute, it can make money on TikTok. People are just doing these pranks. They think it's funny when their kid cries, post it online, make a load of money, and then rinse and repeat. I also understand pranks to a certain level. I understand Spanish to a certain level. London? I was trying to say it from both sides. I think if you know your child likes pranks and maybe it's someone you know dressed up as the Grinch, fine, okay. But if it's something that would scare an adult, it's obviously going to scare a child. Like, kids don't rationalise things in the way that adults do. And if something would scare me, a 25-year-old, I wouldn't want to be tackled to the ground by someone dressed as the Grinch. But like, pouring orange juice on their head is funny. I'm sorry. It's so funny. Okay, moving on from the Grinch pranks to other stories I've seen about the Grinch this month. Last month, a man was chased out of a shopping centre and Primark in Glasgow for being dressed up as the Grinch. John Mitchell said he was stunned and that Primark had actually given him permission, although Primark didn't confirm this. The shopping centre said it was that festive attractions had to be booked in advance, but John insists he was just visiting as a customer and he just wanted to enjoy his wee milkshake in the cafe. He said he had no intention of being an official Grinch appearance, which, like, I get it, but if you're in a shopping centre dressed up in like a fully realistic, as in, I mean realistic as in it looks like a real proper costume, not like someone wearing a t-shirt or a onesie, people are gonna assume that you might be associated with the shopping centre or with Primark. Like, that's literally the reason why Disneyland don't allow people to cosplay or dress up as their characters, because can you imagine if you just like do something like inappropriate in the costume and then kids are gonna be scarred for life that the Grinch gave them the middle finger or something, which as funny as that would be, okay, like. He also quotes in the article that he regularly goes to Comic-Cons dressed up as the Grinch and that it's fine, and like, I also regularly go to Comic-Cons, John, and I'm fully there with you, love Comic-Con, but there's a difference in going to a shopping centre at Christmas time dressed up as a festive character where people might want photos with you, which they might want photos with you at Comic-Con, but at Comic-Con they're not going to think that you're associated with the Grinch because everyone's in cosplay. Also, I don't know what's going on with Glasgow, okay, sorry Glasgow, but on the 28th of November another story about the Grinch came out. Furious parents brand £5 ago Grinch Christmas Adventure the new Willy Wonka experience with cheap decorations and is all over in 1 minute. Glasgow Live did a report on this and apparently it was like a ghost train carriage type of thing that literally just had a few Grinch decorations thrown in. The best bit, there was like a Grinch t-shirt just dangling from the ceiling, and I have to respect the fact that they didn't even display it, it was just dangling. Okay. One parent who was very iconic said that the ride was like taking you round to just look at the Grinch section of Primark. Now this photo of the Grinch is a close second to the £85 Grinch story. This is so funny to me. Why has he got a bag for life? Why has he got a bag for life? Why does he have no hands but they're just latex gloves? What is this? The organiser John Thompson spoke out and said, well, people were having fun, so it's fine. He said that they haven't had any complaints apart from people complaining on social media. He also said that the general feeling is that people are having fun while on the attraction. John, what is fun about a Grinch mannequin with latex gloves? Are you okay? Why is that your idea of fun? Now, I know a lot about Christmas attractions, okay? After working in a Santa's grotto as an elf and an immersive theatre in like a Polar Express type of thing, it wasn't the Polar Express, it was like a knockoff Polar Express. So basically I was a train conductor and I ran like a one-person show. There were other actors as well, so we would like take it in turns to like do a one-person show. But there were a couple of nights actually where I was working the midnight showings because apparently at Christmas time people wanted to go and watch a film at midnight, which fair enough. It just seems like my idea of not a fun time. Anyway, also it was literally like -5 when these midnight showings were on and I was like, you're literally sitting in the cold. Anyway, it was a great job. I would so work there again. Like, honestly, it was so fun. But yeah, so we would do like a one-person show, so it would be all these buttons that you would press, so you were in like a train type of setup. And then there'd be buttons to press that had like sound effects or like fog, and then there were these like windows that made it look like you were moving really fast on the train. and then you would reset it and do it all over again. What shocked me were the amount of people who had absolutely no idea what they booked. And I don't just mean like, oh, maybe it was a gift or it was so cheap that people just booked it. These tickets weren't cheap. One woman literally asked me, oh, does this train, like, does it go all the way around the town? And I literally looked at her and was like, it's a wooden rectangle. It doesn't go anywhere. But obviously I was in character, so I was like, oh well, you know, we're actually going to the North Pole today. And she was like getting really frustrated, and she was like, no, but like, does it go up the high street? Like, will I be able to get off and like go and do my shopping afterwards? And I was like, no, it doesn't move. And also, you're meant to be seeing a film after this. What did you think this was? Where did she buy her ticket? Train line? I also had another Christmas nightmare when I was working in the Santa's Grotto, and on Christmas Eve it was bring your dog to visit Santa Day. Why would that be on Christmas Eve? Because you couldn't get in without a dog. We were told that morning, do not let anybody in unless they have a dog. And I got the lucky job on Christmas Eve being on tickets. And this woman came along with her disabled son who had just had surgery and was like, can I go see Santa with my son and make a nice Christmas memory? And I had to look this woman in her eyes on Christmas Eve and say, it's bring your dog day. Do you know anyone that has a dog? Or see if anyone can lend you a dog so you can come in. And obviously this was really upsetting, so I was like, actually, give me a second, I'm gonna go try and convince my manager to let you in, because I feel like the Grinch. I feel like the £85 Grinch right now. Because what do you mean I have to look at this woman and her disabled son who just had brain surgery, and I have to tell them, nope, you can't see Santa today because you don't have a dog? That's insane. Anyway, went to my manager, pleaded the case, and then the manager actually got his son to deal with it. So then the son let them in for free. I looked like a horrible person who was incompetent because I didn't just go, yeah, go on in, but then I would have been told off. But at least she got to see Santa, but I literally was like, this is the worst day of my life. For the last part of the video, following on from my personal Christmas nightmare stories, I want to talk about how anyone can buy a warehouse, buy a couple of fairy lights, and call it an immersive experience. In 2022, in Scotland again, Scotland, I'm sorry, I don't know why you're catching strays about all these immersive experiences. Parents were promised an enchanting walkway, a light show, and a lovely meet and greet with Santa, all for just £15 per child. The light show walkway was a string of fairy lights. Lovely. Parents also complained that they had to walk through mud and ice. However, that was just the tip of the iceberg. One of the parents makes a point that it was staffed by mostly teenagers, which I think is quite a null point, because what are you trying to say? Oh, that the teenagers are insanely underpaid? What's your point? Teenagers who are looking for work at Christmas, probably so they can afford Christmas presents for their family? Anyway, the bit that tickles me is one of them started the train ride for this guy's daughter, and then he walked away, I think probably to like do something or fix something, or even just to take a break. And this meant that the guy's daughter was going round and round on the train for 7 minutes. And I just think that that is the funniest thing. I don't know why. But also, after like 2-3 minutes, would you not go and get someone? Why are you leaving at 7 minutes? Like, also, are you timing it? This is it. There's so many. I have so many questions. And again, the organisers replied with, well, some people enjoyed it. I mean, I'm sure some kids did enjoy going round on a train for 7 minutes, but you can't just use that as an excuse to not give a refund or to just get rid of any responsibility for false advertising. Also, there was no Santa when they were promised a Santa meet and greet. Again, it was a mannequin, and it didn't even have a hand, which I actually am all for the disability representation. So, fair enough. I just don't understand how places can charge for tickets like this and get away with it. I think it's insane. Like, why aren't these places being sued? How come I got sued last summer for an Etsy listing that had the word smiley in it. I got sued by the smiley company. I'm actually going to link that video down below if you want to hear the story about how I was sued and how I fought the American law system and won, because honestly, sometimes if I'm really struggling in life and I can't do something or I'm really upset, I just think about the time that I was in Zoom court and how I won that. So really, I can do anything. People are also saying that Winter Wonderland in London is a massive scam, and I don't think it's a scam, because like just because you pay £30 for 2 hot dogs, you still get a hot dog. That's not like the definition of a scam. It can be insanely overpriced and not very fun, not enjoyable, and just not a good experience, but by definition it's not really like a scam. But every single TikTok I see about Winter Wonderland in London is talking about how insanely expensive it is. I read this one article that said that it cost like over £30 to go ice skating, and then you weren't allowed your phone on the ice because you couldn't take photos, because they wanted you to buy photos for £25 each. That to me is insane. Also, something that I do think is like pretty scammy is paying money to watch the fireworks like in a park. I don't know if this is just like a London thing, but I see it all the time on like my local area's Facebook group where people will be like, oh, I'm selling 2 tickets to the New Year's Eve Christmas fireworks. And I'm like, but they're in the sky. You can just look up and watch them. Also, fireworks should be banned. Just saying. Which is another crazy thing, that people in England can just walk into a shop and buy fireworks. It's not like that back home. That's just crazy behaviour. Anyway, if you like this video, please subscribe, as I actually am going to revive this channel. I have like 5 video essays that I'm currently working on. I just wanted to get this one out. I know it's not like proper like essay, but I just wanted more people to be aware of the £85 Grinch. I had big plans for my YouTube channel in 2024, and then I went through a breakup, and then I also lost a family member, so that was just not the time for me to do YouTube. But now I'm back on it, getting back into a routine, and I'm super excited for all the videos I have coming up next year. I also made these earrings. I don't know if I said that, but I made them. I run a small business, so I'm going to link that channel down below as well. But yeah, thank you so much. I hope you have a great Christmas, great holiday season. If you celebrate, if you don't celebrate, just have a nice time and eat lots of nice food. Okay, bye!